For several months, Sightings has been investigating a stunning paranormal event unfolding in America's heartland. A young family is being plagued by ghostly activity that ranges from the innocuous to the bizarre, and it won't go away. We called in renowned psychic Peter James to see if he could communicate with the entity and make the haunting activity stop.
Psychic Peter James says he has had the ability to communicate with ghosts since he was a child. Today, Peter continues to develop his power to speak with and even see what he believes are the spirits of the dead.
Well, the first thing I look for is to visually see if there are any ghosts that roam the area. And if they're there, then they generally make it known or make their presence known. And these entities do communicate with me.
Now, Sightings has brought Peter James into America's heartland to investigate haunting activity we've been following for several months. Peter James never saw any videotape. He knew nothing specific about the haunting or its gruesome effects. The identity of the family was not disclosed to Peter. The husband is also asked to have his identity hidden on our tapes. A Sightings video crew accompanied Peter to the family's 100-year-old house. Before he even stepped inside, Peter saw something.
You know what I sense up there? I got just a glimpse of that upper window of the face of a little girl, and I don't know who lives here. It's a boy, right? But I saw the face of a little girl in that window just now.
A little girl is precisely what the husband described seeing months before.
I walked over to the kitchen cabinet, opened the cabinet, and got out a glass, poured my orange juice. Started to take a drink, and as I turned around, there was a little girl standing not more than 3 foot away from me, just as plain as you are to me now.
Peter never heard this interview. He never saw the sketch. And he didn't know the family called the spirit Sallie.
There's a little girl that's standing right there, right at the top of the stairs.
Hello? Hello?
Look.
Hello? Can you speak to me? Sally? Is that your name, Sally? Sally? Okay.
The family and our Sightings investigative team were amazed that Peter James had correctly named the entity. But even more startling was an interview that Sightings conducted later that same day. A former resident of the house revealed that she had also heard about someone named Sallie, but at the time she thought it was just a figment of her daughter's imagination.
I lived here about 3 years ago with my 3 children, and we lived here for about 8 months. And the whole time we lived here, my daughter was 5 at the time. She had an imaginary friend named Sallie. I'd scold Heather. I would scold her for something, and she would come back and tell me, I didn't do that, Sallie did it, or Sallie told me to do it.
But the former tenants' encounters with Sallie were harmless compared to what happened when this family moved in.
I can tell that you're losing your breath right now.
Without warning, scratches on the husband's body would begin to welt and bleed as our cameras rolled. The mission on this visit was to give Peter James a chance to try to communicate with whoever or whatever was plaguing the family. Would he succeed where parapsychologists had failed?
I'm getting a lot of resistance right here at the door, meaning whatever is in the room wants me out. Speak to me.
Peter had no prior knowledge about the scratching and bleeding phenomena attributed to Sallie. So when the husband began to panic during this session, Peter thought it was just nerves.
Really, just now?
When you said, speak to me now,
Yeah.
he felt the cold
Yeah.
fly past him.
And she scratched you?
There, my back's been stinging.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just...
Don't be frightened. There's nothing to be afraid of. Remember, you're in control here. So don't.
MC.
Ooh.
I heard that electrical shock.
Yes. Let me just right here, right in my hand. Did you hear that? Get right in my hand. It hit me right there. Hello? Easy. I'm not afraid of you.
Was the electrical shock a form of communication? And was the MC a cryptic message from a tortured spirit? Peter James believes that the initials are evidence of more than one ghost in this house.
I do feel, as we speak, that over the years that at least 3 people died in this house. She tells me that there was something with her lungs, with her breathing, and also that she hurt her foot or her
Sightings searched town records for evidence supporting Peter James's psychic visions. In the Hall of Records, we found this: the death record of a child named Sallie, date of death 1905. We also tried to substantiate this vision.
Do you know if anyone medical lived in this house? There was a medical person? Yeah, because I feel very medical about this for some reason.
In a city directory printed in 1903, sightings discovered that the person living in the house at the time was indeed a physician. And according to city records, he moved out in 1906, just after the death of Sallie. Was there a connection? During our investigation, Peter James was drawn to the graveyard, one of the oldest in the town. It was here that he had a vision of a little girl dying of pneumonia, and the doctor who couldn't save her. As he wandered among the headstones, Peter James described a small voice calling him toward one particular grave. Here, he felt an overwhelming grief. Here, he said, lay Sallie. But the marker was so old and weather-worn, the lettering had disappeared. But when sightings checked the cemetery's records, we discovered that Plot 1, 4th row west, was the final resting place of Sallie Isabel Hall.
Peter James's visit has helped the family understand a little bit more about what may be causing the haunting in their house. But Peter has not been able to stop the scratching and bleeding and terror that is now part of the family's daily routine. Later in our program, details about a new expanded investigation that Sightings is mounting.